Hello everyone, you're watching Business Africa. My name is Asha Sampet and welcome to our new edition dedicated to the continent's business and economic news. Like every fortnight, you can win $150 in our Business Africa game. More details later, but first, today's top stories. African startups and innovation. We head for the Viva Technology event in Paris and the new Africa Tech Awards.
There are many opportunities, partners, investors, incubators, companies and high-level tech studios interested in talent, African talent.
Young unemployed Beninese convert to organic farming to meet strong consumer demand for healthy products.
Ecological and organic agriculture is not the best option for many, and there are very few farmers who invest in this sector. Even at the level of public authorities, efforts to increase this type of agriculture are lacking.
17 countries, the same legislation and the same business culture. For 29 years, OHADA has supported the quest for security and guarantees for investors.
6 or 7 African countries feature among those with the highest growth rates over the past decade. That's impressive.
It is the unmissable gathering for technology and startups in Europe. Viva Technology attracted tens of thousands of visitors to Paris last month, with this year a particularly remarkable Africa Tech Pavilion. Our journalist Nicolas Margeron was there to take the pulse of this very dynamic ecosystem. Take a look.
The smart robots are out in the aisles of Vivatech in Paris. Samir Shelby has deployed virtual reality helmets.
You see, after you enter each room, you will find modeled object with a sound explanation, okay? From the Bardo Museum.
Samia Shelby founded the first African school specialized in 3D and special effects training in Tunisia. She has been invited to Vivatech by the International Organization of the Francophonie as part of the DCLIC program, which promotes digital training. For her first visit to Vivatech, she has set herself 2 objectives: to find investors and partners to grow, and look for opportunities for young talents who want to create their startup.
We try to match talent with companies, so we are the ambassadors of African youth. There are many opportunities, partners, investors, incubators, companies and high-level tech studios interested in talent, African talent, who came to see us to understand, and they appreciate the work and the talent because today we're here and we have brought back applications and productions of African talent that have been trained in the framework of DCLIC.
Among the flagship countries of the Africa Tech Pavilion, Mauritius occupies a key position as an entry point for investors due to the country's political and economic stability and the mobility policies in place.
There is no need for a visa to come to Mauritius for nearly 50 African countries, meaning they can come freely. They can ask for a visa at immigration on entry. We have facilitated the mobility of people and simplified the financial flow. Today, large Mauritian groups are investing a lot in different sectors of the economy in different countries: health, agro-industry, education, and finance. As I said, technology. And today in Mauritius, we have different incubators that have incubated Ghanaian African startups. Some have come from South Africa. Well, you have Inspect for Less, a nice success story of a Mauritian startup whose founder was based in South Africa and who developed his startup in Mauritius, and who has clearly succeeded today. There are all the ingredients needed for an African startup to develop, to accelerate, scale up, and this is what we are all looking for. It's that one day, and when I say one day, I hope as soon as possible, we will have a real African unicorn.
The first participation of Egypt marked this edition of Vivatech. For this entrepreneur, this Egyptian presence is a confirmation of the good economic health of his country.
Egypt's startups ecosystem and entrepreneurship ecosystem is growing fastly. So now Egypt almost in all of technology events or big events in the world, in all of countries actually, any big event, now you will find that Egypt is there about technology, because there is an aggressive growth in this area and this industry in Egypt in all of aspects, in healthcare, in fintech, in agriculture, everything.
According to this surgeon, the Egyptian health system could be better organized. It is one of the reasons why he has developed a platform that links patients with hospitals and doctors.
We offer people that they can compare between surgeons. For example, if you would like to make a LASIK surgery for your eye, you can compare hundreds of surgeons, and you can send your medical case description for free to hundreds of doctors and receive multiple medical opinions, and here you can compare and choose what is the best for you. Also, the examinations on BookDoc are for free, so you can examine with 1, 2, 3 doctors for free till you decide what is the best surgeon for your case, and then you can go to the next step.
His company, which has nearly 1,500 surgeons and more than 70 hospitals, is growing at a 3-digit rate. Already present in 30 countries, he is still looking to expand further. Egyptian entrepreneurs are on a roll, as 2 of them won this year's Africa Tech Awards in the health category. Rasha Radi and Doa Arif created Shefa, an online pharmacy system.
Basically, we built a platform that connects patients and pharmacies nationwide. The patient can upload their prescription, choose method of payment, submit it. It will be directed to the nearest pharmacy as per the GPS location. On the other side, the pharmacy receives the prescription, confirms that he has what the patient needs, and then they will prepare and deliver hassle-free. Even if it doesn't have what the patient needs, it will be directed to the nearest pharmacy until a pharmacy accepts, prepares, and delivers without the patient having to go look door to door for their medicine.
With an academic background, this doctor discovered a different mindset through entrepreneurship.
The most important lesson is that whenever you try the usual or the typical things to solve a solution and it doesn't work, this is time for you to go out of the box. Get out of your comfort zone and fall in love with your problem, not with the solution. That's how you're going to adapt to the continuous changes in the world, and always prioritize the market needs as per your customer needs.
The award should enable the Egyptian company to continue its development and attract new funding.
A real shortage of oil and dollars is spreading in the east of the continent. Prices are skyrocketing. Soap and cosmetic manufacturers lacking raw materials are caught in the turmoil and are also facing difficulties in obtaining supplies of US dollars. Uganda promotes the use of banana and cassava flour as substitute ingredients for bread making, and the whole region is embarking on the production of soybean oil and palm oil. The Tanzanian authorities have ordered to dedicate 10,000 hectares to the production of sunflower and oil palms. The United Nations World Food Programme is also struggling to deliver food rations to refugees on the continent. The war in Ukraine has strongly affected the organization's deliveries, forcing it to reduce its contribution by half in some cases. Ethiopia, South Sudan and Uganda are among the countries most affected by this deterioration in prices and international logistics. The trend of farmer entrepreneurs continues to grow in Africa and is rapidly spreading to organic products. Benin is one of the most advanced countries, since it was in Porto Novo that the Songhai Organic Farm was founded in 1985, designated as a Center of Excellence for Agriculture by the United Nations. More than 35 years later, young unemployed Beninese are continuing this model of entrepreneurship by organizing themselves into associations. Our correspondent DJ Asogba followed the young entrepreneurs of the Jardin de l'Espoir Association and the farmers' market they initiated, much to the delight of consumers. Take a look.
We are here at the Minotin market, located at the heart of Cotonou in Benin. At first glance, it is difficult to separate organic products from conventional ones.
Chemical pesticides used in the cultivation are tricky to be detected by consumers. Despite their absence, it does not make the lives of these organic farmers easier, who usually face other challenges such as pests, diseases, and weeds. Organic is seen as an unattractive form of cultivation in developing countries. Very large-scale cash crops seem to many farmers to be the only way of attracting foreign exchanges. This explains why very few farmers choose organic. Based in Torre Bozito, about an hour's drive from the economic capital Cotonou for more than 5 years, Femi Kotchoni is one of them. He practices organic farming on an area of 3,000 square meters, and his main concern is the promotion of his organic products.
Ecological and organic agriculture is not the best option for many, and there are very few farmers who invest in this sector. Even at the level of public authorities, efforts to increase this type of agriculture are lacking. But there is also the question of the market.
At the market, organic products are sold at the same price as conventional ones. To be sure of what they are consuming, buyers of organic produce look for and identify gardens that practice this form of agriculture. This is the case of Merveille Nanukon, a young hairdresser living in Pijose, Cotonou. She doesn't hesitate to drive across town to stock up on organic vegetables at the farm Ousmane's Garden of Hope.
La plupart du temps, moi, je prends les légumes.
Most of the time I buy the vegetables, and as you can see, compared to chemicals, organic products are the best.
Les produits bio sont les meilleurs, puisque ça prend du temps à se détériorer.
Since their lifespan is longer, it remains good to eat for a longer period of time. And the taste also differs, so I like to consume organic. It's above all to meet this growing demand that Femi Kotchoni and his friends launched in August 2021 the Farmers Market, a bi-monthly 100% organic market that they finance themselves. 7 gardeners manage this market, which welcomes 100 customers. These organic products are sold at a higher price than in conventional agricultural markets to ensure a decent income for organic farmers.
We do all we can to ensure that the farmer receives a fair price. Our goal, of course, is to reverse the current trend within 3 years. So 70% in the farmer's market and 30% in a normal market.
The farmer's market is the only initiative where you can find certified organic products in Benin. The duplication of this initiative in the rest of the country could favor farmers to invest in organic and also seek to transmit their cultivation techniques.
Our customers recognize the value of our vegetables. In organic, you don't say, you need the money to buy some chemicals. You just need to use your hands. I believe that to produce it is even easier than using chemicals. For example, I don't need to pay for insecticide. We use neem leaves, which we have on the farm for the treatment, also papaya leaves, Vernonia grape leaves. I take them all, pile them up and soak them in water. They soak for several days, and then I drain and filter them and I make my treatment with it. We don't kill the insects, we just keep them away. With neem and papaya leaves, if flying insects, worms and so on try to eat the leaves, they won't like the taste. The products that we use will change the taste of the leaves. It's bitter or spicy. We do our own composting. We take dead leaves and dry leaves and we mix them with cow dung and droppings and charcoal waste. That's how we fertilize the soil.
A traditional know-how which is quickly coming back to life and which could give Africa a real edge, and above all the ability to build up a new reservoir of organic products. According to a study by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the FAO, in 2017, Africa has almost 60% of the world's uncultivated land.
Africa is a continent that's developing, and it's the only continent today where there's the possibility of enjoying natural produce, because the African farmer doesn't have the means to use a lot of chemicals and cannot afford that heavy machinery to spread such products all over his soil. He can't afford to produce 2,000 hectares on his own. We still have natural seeds in Africa, and they are threatened, so now is the time to realize they must be saved. We must create granaries of natural seeds in the face of manipulated seeds, which have been transformed, seeds whose genes have been modified and which, once planted, become a threat to the environment and to the health of consumers.
For Femi and his friends, their market has in any case already won its awareness bet.
It's been a very successful initiative. We launched it to provide healthy fruits and vegetables free of pesticides and chemical fertilizer residue to consumers. We did not want it just for the well-off, we wanted it for the entire population. And looking at the mix of customers who've come here, I can say for this, our second edition, we have reached our goal.
The roadmap has already been drawn, duplicating organic markets throughout Benin before extending them to the entire sub-region with a central target to become the leader in the distribution of agroecological products throughout West Africa. The region still only accounts for 17% of organic cultivated areas on the continent. But the trend is towards an increase in local initiatives, with already good export figures for some products such as organic pineapple from Benin or soy from Togo. You're watching Business Africa. Welcome to the second part of our show. The African Development Bank is considering ways to strengthen its ability to raise funds for the continent's most fragile countries. Among the avenues, the possibility of asking rich countries to use their additional special drawing rights at the International Monetary Fund, which had been injected in response to the COVID crisis. These drawing rights could thus be used as leverage and enable the African Development Bank to raise 3 to 4 times more funding. The rise in US interest rates put several emerging economies in a bad position. Egyptian Finance Minister Mohamed Maïd has indicated that his country should break with the lucrative financial practice of speculative operations on yield spreads. The objective would now be to focus on the growth of its exports and foreign investment. A new development institution is emerging in West Africa. It is the Development Bank of Ghana, which officially started its operations last month with a capital of $800 million, contributed by several partners, the Government of Ghana, the World Bank, the European Investment Bank, the German KfW, and the African Development Bank. The objective is to put an end to the lack of support for SMEs by facilitating their financing and by providing credit guarantees. 29 years of efforts to harmonize business law. 17 African countries have succeeded in making the OHADA an attractive space that marks progress in the Doing Business ranking. From guarantees to investors' security, the reforms undertaken have been considerable. But there are still problems to solve. Investors who have chosen to invest in the OHADA zone have confided their experiences to David Thiombiano.
6 or 7 African countries feature among those with the highest growth rates over the past decade. That's impressive.
In Africa, Fabrice Le Sachet sees nothing but fabulous opportunities to be taken. A prime example is the carbon market, where Aera Group, the company he founded in 2006, on graduating in marketing, is particularly well placed.
We have just signed a contract for more than 2 million tons of African carbon offset credits with South Korea.
Every country on the continent is vying to win over investors, entrepreneurs who will mobilize billions to develop projects, boost growth and create jobs. But understandably, what these business people want, above all, is a maximum return on their investments. Only the promise of a healthy profit margin can incite an entrepreneur to launch a business venture.
Africa is the hardest, most expensive place in the world for prospection.
Alexandre Villegrain's advice for investors taking their first steps in Africa: leave your preconceived ideas behind. The new breed of investors needs to understand that the notion of a backward, poverty-stricken continent plagued by disease, war, ignorance and corruption is a thing of the past. If you want to succeed, you must be able to offer the goods and services a changing society needs and demands.
In a lot of African countries nowadays, you pay with your cell phone. That goes to show how developed this territory is. An entrepreneur coming to Africa must be offering services that he himself would like to see.
The adventure begins with prospection, feasibility studies, a business plan, and support from financial backers. The next step is words to actions. The promoter and his or her team will have to overcome numerous administrative, political, and socio-cultural constraints. The entrepreneur must be armed with patience and stamina.
It would be nice to speed things up a little, but you have to respect the various institutions and respect your counterparts. It takes a certain amount of time for people to assimilate what you want to do in their country, so you have to move at their speed.
Company leaders have got the message. They cannot run their businesses in Africa from behind a desk in Paris, London, or New York. If you want to be accepted by local teams and partners, you have to be present and understand their culture and traditions.
When I go to Cameroon, I'm Cameroonian. When I go to Gabon, I'm Gabonese. In Congo, I'm Congolese. My business is local. I'm not French. I'm from the country where I'm doing business.
And it is a winning formula, especially if the investments are made over the long term, with a win-win approach that capitalizes on local skills. Working with local businesses provides vital knowledge of the terrain, as well as saving valuable time when dealing with local authorities.
Personal relationships are extremely important in Africa, maybe more so than elsewhere. It isn't enough to just turn up with a great project. You also need to know how to explain your idea and sell it locally. An investor from Morocco, for example, cannot just turn up and make a profit. It is important that everybody reaps the rewards, especially the local economy.
Doing business in Africa comes with its share of complications. These may be political, social, economic, legal, or related to questions of governance. Governments are well aware of these problems and are constantly taking steps to improve the situation. Since 1993, 17 countries have decided to enact uniform business laws to provide greater security for investors. These follow guidelines set out by OHADA, the Organization for the Harmonization of Business Law in Africa.
So yes, I would say that this is a boost for development in countries where OHADA law is applied. OHADA was a wonderful thing. It is wonderful and we need to maintain it. In fact, it is becoming increasingly widespread.
Juridical security is well established within the OHADA zone. However, a number of observers argue that there is another obstacle to overcome, namely judicial security. Although OHADA already has a supranational court of appeal, a common court of justice and arbitration, with an established track record for taking courageous decisions, many call for national jurisdictions to give judges greater independence.
Our businesses have had problems because going to court in Africa can be complicated. It's good to uphold the rights of the weaker party, but sometimes the stronger party has done nothing wrong.
Here is one entrepreneur who says that it will take more than the promise of fabulous returns to entice investors. With 50 years of experience working on the continent, he insists that there is one element you cannot do without. You have to like Africa.
Sometimes you'll get taken for a ride. There will be good and bad deals. What can I say? But if you love Africa, you'll win 50% of the time. If you come to Africa thinking it's an El Dorado, I'll make money here, well, you will certainly lose out.
It's now time to reward our loyal viewers of Business Africa. It's up to you to answer to the following questions. If you're drawn among those who have given the correct answers, you will win $150. This is game number 580, so listen carefully to the two questions that follow, and good luck. First question, on how many square meters does Femi Kochoni practice organic farming in Benin? 1,000 square meters, 3,000 square meters, or 4,000 square meters? Second question, when was the OHADA created? In 1993, in 2008, in 2013? You know the answers. You can participate now by going to our website africaonair.com in the replay section. Answer the questions, fill out your form, and good luck. And of course, don't forget to include your contact details, name, address, telephone, email, and the answers, of course. Check out the terms and conditions in the replay section on our news website, africaonair.com. The winner will receive $150 as our winner this week. Congratulations, you gave the correct answers to our previous game. Here are the details. First question, how much is the ICD COVID Resilience Credit Line in Nigeria? The answer, $40 million. Second question, what is the electricity rate for the Mogadishu solar power plant? The answer, 20 cents per kilowatt. Well, that's it. Business Africa is over for today. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel for Initiative Africa. In the meantime, you can catch this show again on our news website, africaonair.com, as well as on all our social media channels. Feel free to share, like, and comment using the hashtag Business Africa. Take care of yourselves and see you next week. Goodbye.